Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen.
GamesCom 2022. Video games are still delayed, but here's some games.
Eventually, they'll come to us. Everything's delayed. That's how it goes. Past couple of years. So we appreciate you joining us at the LANCave, where we talk about gaming news, nerd stuff, and geek out about things. Jeff Keighley bringing us gaming news. Happy about that with Gamescom. And, you know, because there's been a lull. There's been delay after delay. There's been a lull. You guys didn't get our news last week, because that's how we're kind of doing an every other week thing, letting it cool off, because there hasn't been a lot. But I've been enjoying some gaming time. I don't know about you, but what have you been up
to? Well, my favorite Zelda clone did come out with a sequel in Blossom Tales 2. This was a game I talked about, I don't know, like 4 years ago, whenever I originally discovered it. Super cheap, like the sequel's even, I think, only like $12 on Amazon. Yeah. But, you know, it's a top-down Zelda game. That's what it is, except you're a girl named Lily instead of a boy named Link. Playing it on my SWOLED, giving my SWOLED a little love. We had to dust off the screen a little bit, give it a little wipe down, because I just haven't been switching it up. Yeah. So been playing that, and then I also went through and beat Time Spinner, so I got something off my backlog. Nice little cool Metroidvania game on PlayStation. I think it's on everything at this point, but I had it on PlayStation. Annoyingly, I really wanted to play it on Vita. I wanted to play it handheld, but every time I launched the game on Vita, it crashed. I looked it up online. I couldn't find anything, so I ended up just playing it through remote play on my PS5, where it ran perfectly. I've discovered I really like Metroidvanias as long as they're less than 10 hours. Like Hollow Knight, too long. Time Spinner, nice and fun.
Okay.
I was trying to think of something else that's really long.
Hollow Knight. How long was Hollow Knight? I don't remember it being that long.
20 hours.
Was it 20? Okay.
Yeah, it's like 20 hours. Yeah, and Gato Roboto, super simple and cute cat Metroidvania, 5 hours.
Yeah.
Metroid Dread, like 12 hours, and I'm still sitting in front of the final boss because I didn't want to fight it that badly.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, how do you count like having to replay over and over because you're not good yet? But yeah. I guess 10 hours.
I just don't do that. So. Yeah. So I like Metroidvanias. I just don't want them to last very long. Like, I want my map to be tight. So, but nice to knock something off the backlog during this dark period of nothingness. And then really I've been spending some time testing out my theory of earning enough Microsoft rewards points to pay for Game Pass. On July 30th, I had 2,000 Microsoft rewards points. It takes 12,000 to buy a month of Game Pass if you want to do it like that. As of today, August 24th, I have 14,744 points. And there was even like a few days where I had like a little vacation with the fam where I was still doing my Edge logins on my phone, but I wasn't doing anything Xbox related, and I still managed to rack up that many points. So my new thing is, if you don't want to pay for games anymore, go buy yourself a Series X or a Series S.
Series S is on sale right now, so...
Yeah, and you get a free game with it, I think, or something like that.
I can't remember. I'll have to double check. Yeah, it was like, it's $280, like, for Series S right now. Yeah.
And so you can you can earn enough points. It's very easily doable. There's a whole bunch of bonus points on the Xbox. Like, so you need to download the Xbox, like the Microsoft Rewards app on Xbox. You need to download the Edge browser on your phone, and that's pretty much all you need to do it. There's a trick, a little hack to it, it wants you to do Bing searches on a PC. But if you have the Edge browser on your phone, you just go to Bing.com and go into your menu and request desktop site, and it will count that as a desktop search once you start searching.
Easy
that
enough.
way.
It's like daily
Go
quests.
to the rewards website.
Yeah.
It's so easy. And then on Xbox, you can do 50 points a day for getting an achievement. So every achievement you get. So I've picked games that I'm just using for achievement whoring, just to see how they are.
Just easy stuff.
One game I actually did. I wanted to play Unpacking, and I enjoyed Unpacking, and I finished it. But every time you finish a level, you got one. Right now, I'm using Doom 64 because you can get all the achievements in Doom 64 without actually playing the majority of the game. So I played it as a kid, and there's a guide where you can do it in 30 minutes. So I literally go in, I get one achievement in using xCloud. So I didn't even download the game. I just use xCloud, go in and get an achievement, and I'm done playing Doom 64 until the next day. And the first two achievements take literally 60 seconds to get. So I literally like pause next to the other achievement and then turned it off. You know, you don't have to do that though. You can get this very organically. Just rewards app on Xbox, Edge browser on your phone, log in daily, and you will never pay for games ever again.
So all you high school, college people who are just on a more limited budget, maybe you got your family you got to spend money on, and you want to still be able to game, there's your way to do it. So yeah, it's a great experiment that you did on that, and you're going to then convert those, right, to you're doing the Xbox and then slam that with Ultimate, or are you trying that? I don't, because you were talking about stacking those up and then converting to Ultimate. So what I'm going to do as a further experiment is so you can already do that. What I also heard from somebody though is that if you let your Ultimate expire, you can buy regular Game Pass or Xbox Gold for less points, and then redeem those first, and then redeem one Ultimate code, and it will convert all those other points in. So mine expires in January. I'm going to save up all my Microsoft points until then. I'm going to see how many months I can get for, it's going to be August, September, October, November, December. It's going to be 6 months worth of point getting. I'm going to see how many months of Ultimate that I can get that at. So there will be a follow-up to this experiment here around February that I'll report on back then. But either way, you can do it the straightforward way. If you don't want to deal with that math or anything like that, you can do that completely and just get a month of Game Pass Ultimate. And it's even cheaper if you just have PC. If you don't want to get your Xbox and you want to do Game Pass on PC, Game Pass on PC is cheaper in points. I think it's only 8,000, and so it's even easier to get. Robert says he can't hear us. Oh, okay.
I can hear you, and I see that we're recording on Zencaster.
Yeah, so now I'm glad Robert said something, because there are multiple updates that happened recently, and that's not cool. I'm glad we're recording our audio at least.
We are not being heard.
Let me check something real quick. That is... let's see. That is really odd. Let's see what the output looks like on here.
I have the sound turned on.
Yeah, let me check.
Whenever it theoretically comes back.
It's these darn updates, man. So.
Oh, there we go. Well, now it's kind of
crazy. Okay, hold on. So that.
Then it went away because it sounded weird.
That's just not cool when something like that happens. So now we got me. Let me get you. Hold up. Let me switch this out. This is why
I feel like it's grabbing a different mic for you on Facebook, than I'm hearing for you.
Interesting. Let me, it may be this crap. So the, yeah, because I was literally just toggling it, and I told it to go default, and default's not what I want. So I got to switch to, I believe, this. This should be the right microphone. There, I literally had to switch it on and then off. Now, if you talk, go ahead and talk.
There we go. Now you.
So I was
waiting to hear your shift.
Yeah, I should have yours now. This is I literally had to flip it on and then off, but now we're good. So thank you, Robert, for catching that. Thankfully, we got the recording and we're good there. But yeah, Microsoft points, rack them up. That's rack them up.
I literally can't ever say rack them up without thinking of The Dark Knight.
Without thinking of what?
The Dark Knight, where he's like in between the buildings, and like Joker is going after Commissioner Gordon in the and he goes, rack 'em up. Literally every single time. Rack 'em up is said. Can never not hear Heath Ledger.
Dang good movie. That's a great one. I'll say we won't go into it here, but like I'm still waiting to see how the dust settles when it comes to all that with Warner and DC. I don't know if it's been official, but the whole Matt Reeves stuff kept going like up into limbo of like how many are his movies canceled. Joker 2 is like the only one that I think is like we know for certain hasn't been canceled, but I think Matt Reeves' other Batman movies are still underway or whatever you want to call it. But that's just weird dust to settle there. But I've been playing, because you were talking about like 10 hours being the right sweet spot of gaming.
How about 100 hours?
How about 100 hours? I've put 10 hours into Pillars of Eternity, like, so far. And
talk to me about Pillars of Eternity.
You're playing the first one. I'm playing the first one. I'm
okay.
Not even that far, in my opinion. My characters are like just hit level 5.
Yeah,
it's good. You do have to handle the strategy aspect of planning out your attacks, planning out what depending on like what your enemies are and everything, standard stuff. You're gathering your party, so you start with just one person, you're gathering your party bigger to get a larger party. You can also hire people, so I didn't realize that hiring someone actually gave you a legit person. I thought it was going to be kind of like Diablo, where it's just like, oh, you get a rando who may or may not be that good. No, you hire someone and you go through the character generation like that. So I was like, oh, so I saved it, tried it out, and realized I could do that. So then I filled out my party. I didn't have a designated healer, so I got a cleric and I got a rogue, like right off the bat, because I already had a wizard and everything. So then my party was then a little bit more fleshed out, and I was knocking stuff out. So now I've got a party of 5. Yeah, going with party of 6. I'm gonna get another one for a full party of 6. That's your bigger party. Story's pretty. It's all right. I think it's warming up right now still, but classic stuff where you go into a town. There's different things that you can do, different tasks that people need your help to do that. So the classic thing of go talk to everybody, do all the things that they want you to do before you move on, so that way you get leveled up. I like it. This like I said, the story's okay, but the combat and the choice of the different types of spells you can use, and that has been really cool. Like you really can kind of make. It's not extremely customizable, but it reminds me of Dungeons and Dragons, where you're, which is very much what it's going for, where you can say, well, I want this with my wizard. I want this. I want to, have a little bit more control of this rather than DPS. Like my wizard is more control and like almost like a warlock siphoning life rather than just straight up DPS. So I'm liking it, and I may have to check out the second one since that's on PlayStation.
Were you a Baldur's Gate guy?
A little bit. Oh, not until I got it on Switch, but okay. It's pretty good.
How do they compare?
I think this is a little bit more.
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so far, feel like this is a little bit more polished, a little easier to navigate.
I mean, Baldur's
through.
Gate 1 and 2 is obviously like 20 years old, but
Yeah. So that it's a lot. It got a lot better quality of life, if you will, because of that.
do you feel like you have a large effect on the story, like in terms of choosing things? And
so far, no, but I don't know if that changes later. I know that there's some things that I'm getting asked to, being you can choose one thing or another. You can apparently, I haven't experienced it yet, but your party members favor certain choices, like if they're more chaotic good or whatever their alignment is. Again, I'm using D&D terms, but it'll say something about like they favor these types of choices versus those based on whatever. So I think that may have something to do with them later on, but I haven't seen a big. I'm only 10 hours into a game that's I guess 80, 100 hours.
I think it's like 50 or 60 unless you're like doing like every thing. One of my favorite things, obviously we love Obsidian around here. Outer Worlds is one of my favorite games. Still waiting on the second one. I think you're a big Fallout New Vegas guy. KOTOR.
It's my favorite.
2. I'm still waiting on my update. My favorite thing about this was this was before they were acquired, and this was like a crowdfunded game, and like this is what you can do with a proper team that you're giving crowdfunded to. This game was made off Kickstarter money.
And it pops up there and thanks, like when you're in the you're getting the load screen, it's like thank the 77,000 backers or whatever. So it's really cool to see that. I mean, and it's also on Switch. I've got this. I'm playing on a PlayStation. I'm playing on a PlayStation because I believe this is part of the PlayStation Extra, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And I'm tempted to get it on Switch though, but unfortunately it's $50. But at the same time, I mean, you can get even without
PlayStation Extra, you can get Pillars of Eternity right now on sale for $12.50 on PlayStation.
Telling you, I'm looking on Nintendo's site here. I'm like, really? There's no reason for that. Like, you don't have to. That's dang old Nintendo. Like, I think you did get it through Extra though, so that's pretty sick. Did PlayStation just be like, we'll give you all of Obsidian's stuff? I wonder if Outer Worlds is on there too. That'd be pretty funny. I've got this downloaded. I have the Pathfinder game, which I was playing, which I was like, this is all right. And I also have the other one that I get confused with Pillars of Eternity, Path of Exile, because it's a P of E. Like every single time, like Path of Exile, Pillars of Eternity. Path of Exile, I didn't like near as much. I know it's a different game. The only similarities, they're isometric, but that game, it felt like a slog in comparison to Diablo. That game, Path of Exile, I'd put more like a Diablo game than a D&D, RPG. And it was a drag. I put in, I think, 5 or 6 hours into that, and I felt painful every time. This, it takes a little bit to warm up to, like RPGs usually do, but when you're about an hour and a half in, you kind of get the feel of it. And once you, like I said, if you get some gold or get some whatever they call it, coin, and hire additional people in your party, it fleshes it out and you're good to go. That was the big struggle for me. I was having trouble juggling like a party of like 2, and then I finally got a third person, and I was like struggling. But yeah, that really helped. Onto some gaming news though. Random to me. Did you expect a Sega Genesis Mini 2? I don't understand the point, to be honest. Like, is it bigger? It's exclusive to Amazon, right? It's exclusive to Amazon. It says that it has improved hardware and sound, because the Sega Genesis sound emulation has always been something that struggles with people, and the library. However, if you have one, I have one right there. I haven't had any problems with mine. Maybe the sound isn't quite as good as as it could have been, but I didn't have any problems with mine, and I modded mine. So if you don't want to mod yours, maybe you get a Sega Genesis Mini 2, and Then you have two of them.
How easy was it?
Crazy easy.
How easy? What about what was it? What about the NES and the SNES? Were those easy?
So all three of those you can literally mod with a USB cable on your computer.
Cool.
There's a little task of dumping the kernel, save your backups, etc. But the PlayStation required a an extra USB stick that stays in it basically. But these were pretty easy. The only
because I have the whole SNES library. I have the whole NES library.
The only downside is you can't throw everything on there because the onboard memory isn't quite enough. The onboard
you have to be a little bit selective.
Yeah, you have to be selective. So I think I've got 100 and some change or whatever on each one. It's not.
Oh no!
I mean, yeah,
you're gonna run out, dude.
I think they came with 25 or 30 games, and I threw another 100 at it. So I basically was like, what are the games that I really am going to play, and just put those on there. I planned on not changing that at all because basically set it and forget it kind of thing. Some people will probably really like this. To me, I was, again, the nostalgia aspect, I was hoping that they would sell the Tower of Power because they had those, the Sega what is it, I forgot the name of it. It's the thing that goes into the top, the 32X whatever. It looks like a mushroom, and then you have the Sega CD that you lock that into. So they had those. It was either really limited or it was only sent out to influencers. But I kind of wanted one of those just because it's ridiculous. But it's kind of that nostalgia aspect of people were eating it up back in the day. I'm gonna pass on this. I don't know. Some hardcore Sega fans may like it. I'm not gonna pass on that PlayStation VR 2 though.
Dude,
next year,
nice and early.
Man,
nice little
we'll wait a little bit.
Q1 2023. No price point yet. That's what I really want to know. I'm like, is it? Do I have to throw down a PS5 price to get this machine? And then I still don't think they've said if it's back compat or not.
I've not seen anything on back compat. I'm still going with, I feel like they're going to sell a bundle and a standalone, and that's going to give them the ability to make the price seem less than it really is. If you want to buy just the unit, the tip, $299. I mean, I think $299 for just the headset. I'm wondering if they're gonna put it at $299 specifically to try to get it into households. That's the only reason I said $299, because that is $399 would be for the technology of what's in there. $399 makes sense because we're talking about 4K HDRs you're seeing there. I could see that being what we're looking for, or what would make sense. But they may be trying to, I don't know. They could be trying to save some money. $349. I don't know.
I don't know. Just looking at the resolution, it's 2000 by 2040.
Mm-hmm. They're smaller screens. So
OLED HDR.
Yeah.
90 to 120 hertz refresh rate. 110 field of view. Vibration on the headset. The only thing they really do is they didn't make it wireless. I don't know. I mean, no matter what, with that Horizon game, there's nothing that they've shown me that isn't I'm in. I have to be I've been waiting for VR for what feels like forever now. I passed on the MetaQuest, where the Quest 2 was very tempting. Which, by the way, did we talk about the MetaQuest price going up a few weeks ago?
No, did that go up for? How much did it go up by? I forgot.
It hasn't gone up yet, I don't think. But when's the last time you saw hardware go up in price? It cracked me up. Anyway, but that's another reason why I don't think it could be cheap. I understand, everybody's going through the same chip shortage.
Price a lot on my work, but that's because of supply and demand. We're seeing not only supply and demand, but there's equipment where it's the new. It's irritating, but some of the larger manufacturers they're selling the equipment that I'm having to deal with, like, are increasing it for whatever reason. But yeah, you're right. For consumer products, usually you don't see hardware go up very often at all.
They're saying 20 launch titles.
20 launch titles. I think if it's not backwards compatible, it's not going to break it. But if you are backwards compatible, immediately you have people who can buy it, pick it up, play stuff that's in their library right now. People who have a PlayStation VR like I do, or people like you who have the games in their library from PlayStation Plus, it would allow for that embedded library. I don't know if it's got to be a question of, can they get it to work without the external camera, or will it be backwards compatible if you use the PlayStation camera adapter like I have? There's a chance of that. And that's the easy way around it.
There's a reason they're refusing to talk about it. I need to know, because there's been a ton of good sales. There's good sales going on right now. And I'm like, I need to know if I can like go ahead and pick up Moss for cheap. I want to know if I could pick up Vader Immortal at any point for cheap. I
would wait. I
am waiting. I'm not going to do it until it's one of those things where I'm willing to stack up PSVR games if they will just say that I can use them.
And the easy way, again, from a development standpoint, I'm gonna say the easiest way for them to handle this would be, hey, it's backwards compatible if you have the adapter, like the camera adapter and the PlayStation 4 camera, not the newer camera, because that's how the PlayStation VR works right now. So that may allow for the PlayStation VR 2 to work without them having to code and figure out how to use the sensors versus the camera, because this is used without the need of a camera. So that's the only thing I could think of. That would be the easier way to do it. But that's also a tough selling point, where they're like, yeah, it's backwards compatible, but you got to shell out another $50 or $100, however much the cameras are going to be, plus the adapter. That's a tough sell if someone does not have that already. You still got your adapter. Did you send away for yours, right?
I don't have a camera. I guess I should say. I don't have a PSVR. I don't have the PSVR.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that's right. You had to have the PSVR to do it. That's right. I forgot.
If they start selling the adapter, though, like
you can buy it. I mean,
I might have a PlayStation 4 camera like in a box somewhere.
If you've got one, and as soon as we confirm, then grab that and figure out what it is. Robert in the comments saying, what was that? The camera, the cam finds the light on the headset, and the second one doesn't have those lights. That's true. Good point, Robert.
I just don't know why they wouldn't be able to build that tech into it. Like
you'd have to recode. You'd have to code some type of universal like mapping to say, normally you're looking for the camera tracking the lights. Now take those same metrics and make it into the sensors that they're currently using. That's the only way to do it, which I don't know how easy that is. That's the part that I'm not versed in, but but yeah, good call, Robert. That I didn't think about it has to check for it has to see the lights. There are 4 lights. Can't go one episode without a Star Trek reference. You're still watching DS9, by the way?
I finished it.
Oh, you finished it? Okay.
The other day. Okay. Yeah. I love that show. I love that show so much. I will say I am a lot, as an adult, not paying, I didn't pay a lot of attention the last time I did a watch through, which has probably been about 10 years since I did a full watch through. Cisco's ending is not satisfying at all. I don't like it. Yep. I think they did him a little dirty. I think people complain about how they did Archer dirty with Enterprise, and they did.
I didn't finish Enterprise, but I heard that. Was one of the most disappointing endings to a series. Yeah, from what I've heard. Yeah,
they did the Captain way dirty. They made it a thing. They made it about Riker, which was dumb, and then kind of shoehorned some Captain stuff into it. But in this, he's largely absent for the majority of the finale, which was kind of disappointing. But everybody else's ending is great. Had a little tears with Miles and Julian. The bromance was real, but fantastic series.
It is.
Best Star Trek. Peak peak Star Trek.
I think we'll go on to talk about Gamescom, but like something that I absolutely love watching it, Nog and like watching him and his dad, like, you know, not only the interaction, but like watching their path that they take, you know, and not the non-Ferengi, you know, story that they both kind of find their own way, which I always thought was really cool, because Quark's one of the best characters ever for Deep Space Nine, but he's very rigid in this is what it is to be a Ferengi and what it is to have success, and the two of them in their own ways are like, no, this is what I want to do. I want to be an engineer. I want to, you know, go to Starfleet, which I always thought was really cool. I love the cultural aspects of Deep Space Nine, where you get
why the Star Wars prequels are not, you know, that's the things that make the Star Wars prequels good, where you see the government, you see the things that go wrong. But man, some of the episodes where I was like, man, I forgot that Cisco was like very edgy. Like there was the one episode within the Pale Moonlight with how they got like the Romulans into the war, and like you're like, all right, Cisco. But there was just several other times throughout where you're just like, all right, that's cool. Like how much they had to roll with the punches because they're on this giant space station. How much Odo was just like, well, you know, Quark's like my bait. He uses Quark as bait to catch bigger criminals. He's like, I never actually bust Quark.
Yeah, why would you bust him? He's like you know, that's like you said, it's your bait. I love the interaction between the two of them, and of course Garrick and Quark are just, their root beer scene is probably one of my favorite scenes in like all of Star Trek. Oh man. Well, we did have Gamescom that came up. We'll get off the Star Trek stuff.
Still Gamescom.
Still Gamescom
going on. If you want to tune in daily for a couple days for the news, pretty much all of the news. I don't know. It's another, man, we need to get to next year so bad.
Yeah. I think I'm ready for it. I kind of tried to separate this into different categories in our notes. I had some peripherals or kind of moments. DualSense Edge controller. I
will probably buy it.
I don't have a problem with this.
I'm a sucker.
Looks good. I was going to say you're a sucker for this. I like the premium aspect to it. I like the ability to. Does it have the triggers? I couldn't see. Those are the triggers, right?
It has the trigger locks like the Xbox Elite. Xbox Elite controller, which if you've never messed with, there's basically 3 switches, and you can decide how much pressure you want on the trigger for it to activate using those locks. And so if you're playing like a shooter, you can set it up and like have it be way less.
Which will be interesting with the haptic, not haptic feedback, with the what is it called? Not the haptic feedback, but the pressure, the DualSense, whatever.
It's haptics.
Is that okay? Well, like because that'll be interesting to see. I mean, if you can adjust it, that'll be good. Because if you have that sweet spot, if your fingers, you know, have a certain sweet spot to them, I mean, that's
you can turn it off for games too. Like if you're playing Call of Duty, you can go into the settings and turn off the. You're talking about the adaptive triggers.
I was talking about the adaptive triggers. Sorry. Yeah.
Adaptive. Yeah. So sorry. The haptics are in the handles. Yeah. The adaptive triggers. So you can already turn that off, and so people do for the shooters anyway, because it's not, if you're competitive at all. If you're not competitive, you probably leave them on. But if you're playing COD online, you turn that off immediately anyway, because it is distracting. But I use, whenever I'm playing COD on my Xbox with the series, with the Elite controller, I use the middle switch, because I like just a little bit of give, but not too much give. I also like that it has, I'm pretty sure it has the back, like 2 back paddles.
I think it has. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So, like that is always awesome in terms of programming. Like your jump button, a roll button is where I do those most of the time. Anything where you would have to take your fingers off your sticks to jump. So you would want to replace, like, so if you're playing a shooter again, you replace like or not replace, but you put jump on that back paddle, so that way you can jump, turn, and shoot at the same time.
Take your finger off,
Or like I did in Star Wars Battlefront. I used it for my roll button, so that way you could roll dodge while moving, immediately go back to shooting. Back paddles are great for shooters. I'm sure they're great for other things too, but shooters
I'm sure they
in
are.
particular.
Yeah, that's where it shines. That's why I haven't really had a need for it yet. But I don't know. I may try. This may end up being the first one that I have with paddles. I've tried them at friends' houses or whatever. It's just it wasn't something that like appealed to me specifically because I don't do competitive shooters and don't usually have too much of a problem, jumping while moving if I need, because I'm not competitive.
Yeah.
One thing I'm not going to get though is this Pokemon Mini, and I know it's a concept car, at least that's what it's listed as, but Pokemon's the most lucrative IP in the world, so I don't hate it. It's very Pokemon. Maybe somebody's probably gushing about this, but I thought it was just kind of, I don't know. It was very over the top. What do you think?
I thought it was fake, to be honest. Like at first, I'm like, how are you treating this like as a real thing? But what is it? It's a BMW something.
Robert saying if not for Apple's car, he would get it.
Oh yeah, right. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I bet Apple's car is going to be 5 times as much as this thing is. Who knows? I'm looking for a price.
I haven't seen a price. I've seen listed about concept cars. It could be a complete joke, but everything that I've seen keeps listing it as a concept car, which tells me they just threw it together just to. I mean, it has. It looks like they could have done. They did this with just a sound stage and gutted a Mini, or just use the not even the frame. Even the part right there where you see it moving, it's in the shadow. Like that could have been another Mini, and then you cut to this. I don't. It's just it's very extra, but at the same time, it's Pokemon, so.
Apparently back, I guess I just blocked these out of my memory. There was some Pokemon, there was some Pikachu VW Beetles that existed at some point. There's only 10 of them, I think, so that makes them pretty expensive cars. And then there was some Lugia themed PT Cruisers at one point. That's pretty funny.
Luigi? What?
Lugia, Pokemon Silver and Gold.
Lugia. Sorry, I thought you were trying to say Luigi. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, some people might say Lugia, but I think it's Lugia.
Yeah, I think you're right. My brain just immediately. I'm looking at some stuff on Nintendo's website, and my brain just like put that together and was like, "Is he trying to say Luigi?" No, you're good though. I forgot about the Pikachu ones. I mean, if they did this as a limited thing, like I get it, man. I mean, I put my name in there to get those limited Sonic Xbox controllers, the fuzzy Xbox controllers, just to do it. I mean, why not? Would it be something I'd buy? No, but if I win it, I'll do it. I just thought that was kind of out there. But the other thing that was a little kind of out there, I didn't expect Hideo Kojima doing a podcast. It's going to be in English and in Japanese, so I'm assuming that his translator will, because he's not as comfortable speaking English, at least what I've seen of him. It says it's in English and Japanese, so I'm assuming his translator will retranslate his bit. But I mean, I'll check it out. This is on Spotify. I guess I'll check it out and see what it is that he's going to be talking about. It's called Brain Structure. I don't know what to expect here from the what the subject matter is going to be. Is it just going to be him rambling? Is he going to be talking about? I don't know what to expect in regards to format or anything. But
yeah, I mean, I'm not going to listen to it, but I think he's I think he's an interesting person, but yeah. He's one of those people where it's just like, all right, I like certain things that he does. Like if you watch him on Twitter, or follow him on Twitter rather, like once or twice a week, he'll go through and he'll just retweet people's Death Stranding posts, like whether it be like art that they made or whatever. Okay. So you see that he's just like, does little things where he's like, oh, I see you. I like stuff like that. But then there's other parts where I'm just like, I don't know. I've never connected with this video game, so I just don't care that much. But I also heard, didn't like this week also didn't Harai say he was making a podcast? The Smash Bros. Dude.
I didn't see that.
Is that his name?
I always forget his name. Hold on. So that is
Sakurai. That's
Sakurai,
what it says.
yeah.
So
Sakurai,
Sakurai is
that's
making
funny.
a YouTube. He's making a YouTube channel to talk about, I think, like game making.
Okay.
And he just like announced that, I think, today.
All right. So all right, I'm gonna throw some fighting words out here, but I would rather flip that and have Hideo Kojima talk about game making rather than Sakurai and have Sakurai do a podcast that's less structured. And as I said, it's gonna be fighting words, pun intended, for some people, but but then again, Hideo Kojima is like the weird history references and stuff that he throws in there. I don't know. It could be interesting to see where he's going with this stuff.
I mean, I could see why he would latch on to Kojima. Like, he's got a similar thing in terms of where he just like likes weird movie. Like, no offense, but you have an interesting taste in movies.
Yeah,
and like he's like, oh, I decided to watch this random thing that nobody's ever heard of before, and he just talks about it. So I can see why that would be a thing. I think depending on what Sakurai has to say, he's definitely a master of his class. Like, Smash Bros. Is one of the coolest things ever, and he's very meticulous and hasn't given up the reins on Smash forever. But that's after that, though, it's like, what is he going to be talking about? Like, it's going to be interesting in terms of process, because literally he's been making like the same game now.
That's kind of what I was getting at. It's like
10 years longer than 2008.
Yeah. Because Kojima did Metal Gear games, but the Metal Gear games have a varied, like they spanned multiple generations. He got, there's a few different, they're all kind of third person, kind of, but they went into open world. He did PT. He was doing PT. We did Death Stranding. Like, I feel like that's kind of what I was getting at.
Kirby.
Sakurai did?
He did a lot of Kirby. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Okay. He was the director of Kirby's Dreamland and designed Kirby's Dreamland. That's cool. I mean, he's got some platformer and stuff in there too. That's cute. I mean, no wonder Kirby is so prominent in the
it's like his baby.
The Smash lore. Like, that now doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's like he's got to like honor his heritage, his history or whatever. I sectioned this off a little bit. I don't want to spend an insane amount of time, but we got some new IPs in here, some updates. I'll say of the new IPs, the one that I'm really looking forward to, I'm just gonna grab one out of here, because the one I'm looking forward to, Moonbreaker. I'm just in that mood right now, I guess. Hence the Spelljammer D&D stuff. But this is a digital tabletop strategy game written by Brandon Sanderson, and I thought, this is just super geeky, and I'm interested. I like the strategy aspect. I like that it's a little tabletop war type strategy game. So there's other things that were announced that were pretty cool too, but this one I really gravitated towards, as you probably weren't surprised.
No. I mean, what did you think of Where Winds Meet, though? I thought that, because you were a Ghost of Tsushima guy, right? So
yes, and this one, the open world medieval China, I did gravitate towards this too. I was just trying to limit a little bit of time, but the art in this, it's beautiful. And again, I think we talked about this like forever ago, but anytime that I can get games that dip into like a little bit more of like one culture versus another culture, there's not a lot of games that are there are more games that are Japanese culture versus Chinese culture. Again, if we could get like things out of Singapore and others, like there's a lot of really cool stories out of there. So medieval China, I think, is going to be pretty cool and interesting to see the differences between something like this and Ghost of Tsushima being, countries that are close to each other, but culturally have varied,
Very different.
very different. So the only reason I say that is because there's so many people who will get that mixed up when they see something like this. But it looks beautiful, and I'm definitely interested.
The stuff that like I didn't bold anything or anything. The only one where I'm like super in, like Forspoken looks dope, dude.
Yes.
I watched it on mute. Like I didn't really want to learn anything else. Like I've been in on the game since the beginning. Yeah. I feel like I'm one of the few. There's been a lot of hate for this game, but Forspoken looks dope. And then I have a soft spot for that dev. Their first game was Final Fantasy 15. I like Final Fantasy 15 more than the average bear. Platinum that game. This is their second game. They're untethered from Final Fantasy. They get to make their own thing. It's an original IP. It's beautiful. Final Fantasy 15 was beautiful, so I figured this was going to be. The movement looks dope. The combat looks fun. Everything about this game, I like. Aside from I've never listened to the cheesy dialogue that people have complained about. I just don't care. People have sometimes complained about the setting, where like I love the setting. People are like, "Why do they put a modern person in here?" I'm like, because it's different.
That's I mean,
it's different.
Yeah, you're. I mean, first of all, that's the classic. Like, get a protagonist who doesn't know about the world, so you can learn about the world through the protagonist. Kid in King Arthur's court style. I'm fine with that. No, I think the game looks great. Every time that I see it, I'm reminded at how good 15, the combat in 15 is. And I feel like this just took a lot of the lessons that they had there and just improved on it
and made it better, made it single. You're not party based anymore. So like it seems like you can act quick with her little menu system that pops up like while moving. I'm so excited about this game. I wish that this was the game I was looking forward to probably the most this year. It got delayed, unfortunately. I'm okay with it getting delayed because take your time to get it right and everything, but this game was supposed to come out next month, and no, it's not. But I was excited to see that. And then the only other thing, I love me some Telltale, so seeing Tales from the Borderlands, seeing The Expanse,
man,
I will buy both of those. So
Tales from the Borderlands, it is. When I saw Tales from the Borderlands, I was excited, and then The Expanse as well. I'm like, Telltale's back. I love it. I absolutely love it. It was sorry, Robert saying, my feelings aren't hurt on the back.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not doing too bad.
Yeah.
I said the Forsaken audio was playing over me. Oops.
Yeah, I had to fix it. Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, some of the sources in here, it gets wonky sometimes. I try to silence all of them. I'm trying to find a better way to do that, but no.
I'll say I was impressed. Like the art in this Tales of the Board, like it looks like they're taking some time to hopefully fix that, and maybe Borderlands just like works, but hopefully what we're also seeing from Telltale coming back is that maybe they've taken some time to get rid of some of the jank, maybe come into the new age. Who knows? But Tales of the Borderlands, if you haven't played it, is definitely one of the best Telltale games available. So
I only played a little bit, so I have to jump back into it because I only played a little bit of it.
It's good,
and
it's really good. But I would Telltale, I played every Telltale game. So.
Oh yeah. I need to. I mean, I really like them. The only one that I didn't like, because even the ones that I didn't complete, like the only one that I didn't like was the Game of Thrones one.
That's awful.
I like Game of Thrones, but I still haven't watched the House of the Dragon. I've got that ready to watch, hopefully tomorrow. But like the Game of Thrones one was bad. I liked the what is it? Not Wolf Among Us. What was the Wolf?
It's the Wolf Among Us.
Is the Wolf Among Us? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked that one. For some reason, I thought I've got that confused with something else in my brain. But I've liked all of them. I need to go back and do the Walking Dead ones because I liked the first one. I didn't play the rest of them.
You didn't play 2, dude?
No, I didn't.
2 is so good.
I may even have it like already on my like Xbox account or PlayStation at this. I mean, from all the extras and stuff that we get, I may already have it like ready.
It might be partially free on Xbox as well.
I'll have to check.
So check all your memberships. You know, you probably own it somewhere.
I probably do. There's like I mean, there's a couple others here I could like mention, but the Dune Awakening. Separate from the Dune strategy game that we're getting, by the way. So this is an open world survival MMO Dune game, and I am a huge fan of the Dune series, but I don't know how to feel about this. I don't know, like an open world survival MMO. So you're, I guess, one of the Fremen or something, but it seems like it would take a lot of the things that I like about Dune out, and it seems to really be concentrating on like the first like couple books and everything. But I thought that was an interesting choice. Strategy makes sense. It's been done before, but this is also pretty niche. I don't know how people are going to feel about an MMO of Dune. A very very niche, dry, no pun intended, subject matter. I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll check it out because I'm a hardcore Dune fan, but the strategy game, it makes sense. I don't know how to feel about this one, though.
I got nothing.
Yeah, you got nothing.
To say. I didn't watch the movie. I haven't read the books. I meant to watch the movie, and then I was like, oh, it's super long. And me and 3-hour movies just don't get along. It's
long. And that's a 3-hour movie. That's the first half of the first book. So
I can deal with that. It's more just like, I have to take it in breaks. Like what's the other? I didn't watch Foundation on Apple TV Plus. Oh yeah, the Batman took me 3 watches to get all the way through. Like I didn't start over at time, but just pausing and being like, all right, I'll see you later.
Yeah, Dune wouldn't end up being like that for you then. But it's a very slow. It's visually it's amazing. The sound is amazing in it, but the story is good. But if you don't know what the story, like if you don't know anything about the story, I don't know how satisfying the first movie would be if you didn't know like everything else that's like coming afterwards. And I will say, like I had to tell so many people after they saw it. I felt like similar to what happened like when Lost ended, and I had to like play collateral damage for people to explain like no, that's not what it was. So in Dune, the very beginning of it, you hear Zendaya like saying, like talking about like these people coming and like mistreating their and oppressing her people, and one of her lines says something like, "Who will be our next oppressors?" or something like that. The character of Paul like wants to do good, but in the storyline, it's one of those protagonists who wants to do good but ends up doing some not so good things in his story, which is important. It's an allegory for like, you don't put all your chips into one basket for like a charismatic leader. That's literally the point of Dune, is you don't follow a charismatic leader because people will start blindly following them and bad things happen.
Don't follow Hitler. God.
Yeah. So when people are like, oh, this is a white savior movie, I'm like, no, it's not. He's like, people are gonna like absolutely love him and do bad things because they're blindly following. So, and that's not ruining anything that's literally part of the allegory that helps you. Like, it's amazing, very slow, dry stuff. But like I said, it's niche. And then Dead Island. I guess I'll say Dead Island 2 is gonna apparently come out.
Yeah, and there's like special edition for it that's like $100 on PlayStation 4. I saw. I didn't play the first one. Yeah, I didn't play the first one, so I don't have any real context to it. Like other than I heard it was like zany.
Yeah, I did play the first one, but it's been forever. It's been 8 years since they announced this game. It's been 8 years since they announced Dead Island 2. So I don't know. We'll see if it's like too little too late, or if it's actually going to live up to the hype, or if it will be completely eclipsed or confused by Dying Light 2, because both have zombies and start with a D. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it's like an Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds thing. Like some people make it confused.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. Like, did you play Dying Light?
Yeah. No, I didn't play Dying Light. No. I've heard really good things, but
it's one of those things where I put it on my Deku deals for a decent thing, or I'm really hoping at one point the first one comes to Extra or Game Pass, because I would like to check it out. But it's just one of those things where it's like I really, outside of Telltale Walking Dead, I just don't like zombie games. It's just not my thing. And I guess what was that multiplayer one that was big on Left 4 Dead?
Yeah,
Left 4 Dead 2 was a ton of fun with friends. So it's one of those things.
I played a lot of that with Whitney.
Yeah, I'm just not a big zombie guy. It's just not what I do keep meaning to go back to Days Gone now that they put it on. They made a PS5 version. I have it downloaded. It's on the official backlog of things to do. Probably play it on easy just because I want to try that hard. But yeah, but I've heard a lot of good things about Dying Light 2. Or Dying Light, the first one, with how much support they put into it, and it's just never gotten to the right price for me. I need a nice little $10 joint. Pick it up, play it.
Well, then also all the other games in your backlog are competing for that. So I'd be playing Days Gone before I play Dying Light. I feel like that's more my style, more your style. I'm going to get a decent story out of this.
Patrick, why would I play a game that I own when I can buy something else? Why would I do that? What are you talking about?
The sad thing is I got that USB hard drive. The USB hard drive's not completely full, but I got that 5 gig hard drive hooked up to the PlayStation. I've got the an additional not gig, sorry, 5 terabyte, not gig. I got the 5 terabyte USB in there. I've got the 1 terabyte solid state, that I installed into the PlayStation. That's full. So all my internal space is full, and I'll transfer games and I'm still going, what else can I buy? I'm not saying what should I buy, but I'll look at my catalog and I'm like, what's in the store? What's in Extra? What's in PlayStation Extra now? Because there's so much. I wish you told
me how many games there were, because I have a 4 terabyte on my PS4 or my PS5. I have a 5 terabyte on my Xbox, which was the most worthless thing of all time. I should have totally swapped them and done the 5 on PlayStation, but I have 2 terabytes worth of games on the USB. I have 800 gigabytes worth of games on the installed M2 SSD, and I have 400 gigabytes worth of games on the internal storage. And we're not even counting my Xbox Game Pass games, and we're not even counting my Switch games.
Yep. And you still look at that and go, it's the whole classic, there's nothing good on TV when you've got all the, back in the day when we actually watched TV and flipped through the channels. Didn't matter how many channels you have, or you're going through Netflix. You just go through Netflix for an hour and go, it's nothing good. It's what's the term for that?
I started watching League of Their Own on Amazon Prime last night because I couldn't find anything. It's good.
Yeah,
I can see why people would be upset. The conservatives.
Is it too woke? Is it too woke?
Yes. Not as a person who uses that term ever, in terms of I know, as a person who I'm in Texas, and so you have to hear that lens all the time. But they definitely took a premise that was made very straight in the early 90s with Madonna and so on.
It's
And
subtle. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
They're not subtle in this TV show. So
it's like the movie, like Rosie O'Donnell, O'Donnell, and I can't remember the other woman's name, but like Rosie O'Donnell has like a scene in I love the movie, and like her breakdown and scene of like her breakdown of like when she's like, I finally found like, you know, this is like my home. I found people who like I can, you know, I was always like, you know, that other I can't remember her exact lines, but it's totally her like basically saying like, you know, I'm finally around people who understand me because she's gay, and it's subtle enough that she doesn't straight up say it, but you can tell, you can feel it. And I'd heard that with the new one, but if it's good, I'll check it out because I don't care.
I'm through the first 2 episodes, and plus it has Darcy Carden, which which if you haven't watched The Good Place, dude, you should totally watch The Good Place.
Yeah,
definitely.
No, she's great. Okay, I was trying to remember who you meant, but loved The Good Place.
Good Place is definitely like one of my favorite COVID shows that I finished. You know, I say that because I finished it during that time, but one of those things. But she's like the second billing, and Nick Offerman is in it.
Is he the coach?
Yeah, he's the coach.
Oh my god! Okay, now I'm watching it.
He's the manager. So, you know, so far he has been interesting and stuff. So, anyways, 2 episodes in, I like it. I'm gonna finish it for sure. It's probably what I'm gonna watch after this, actually. So,
I'll definitely check it out. I can easily convince the wife to check that out with Nick Offerman in there. So, like, and the subject. I mean, the movie's good. So, and if the TV show's, you know, decent, then yeah, something I always like worry about when you're like, you're gonna turn that movie into a TV show, but if you can do it,
yeah.
Anyways, hope you guys like the show this week. Let us know what you're playing in what's in your backlog. What's in your backlog, not what in your wallet, but what's in your backlog. What are you ashamed to say is still in there? Or are you still buying games like we are? Are you looking forward to any of the games that we talked about this week? Are you as exhausted as we are? Let us know in the comments. See